I promise y'all, I'm not going to be on here long because I have, like the title said, I actually sat up here a few minutes ago and really questioned myself. Now, I know I'm just probably in one of those moods today, but I just questioned myself. So I said, I got to share it with y'all about what I just experienced. So, as y'all are coming in, please make sure you hit the like button. That will let YouTube know that we're live, y'all. I feel like I am like stinging all over, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So, we just got back from a lovely, lovely trip. Look at this mosquito. Yeah, y'all come in. Come on in. A lovely, lovely trip from the beach. I told Chris, y'all know that half of our career we used to live by some type of body of water, be it the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. And so when we moved to the Atlanta area, like I told him, I said, I have not been to a body of water all this year. I would go there, I would ground, and just really take in nature. Now, we ended up going to the beach, y'all, but it kind of got, I don't know, once I saw those jellyfish, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and let me just be careful. But we saw like a whole bunch of jellyfish. And shout out to the little kids that warned us, because you know how sometimes you see things on the internet and you think they look one way. And when you actually see them, it was something totally different. I think these were like moon jellyfish or something like that. But my interpretation of what a jellyfish would look like was not that. But I guarantee you, everybody that walked by and saw it, they like jumped and they're like, oh, a jellyfish. So, y'all, I just questioned myself. Like, I'm out here and I'm like, why are you really doing this? Why are you really doing this? Because, oh, I have been, so I appreciate all of y'all. So, some months ago, remember, I was telling y'all I was being bit up by what I finally figured out, thanks to you all, not the mosquitoes that are currently just landing on me, but the no-see-ums. And so before I left, let me share with you what I did. And so I took some days off and I was like, I got to get this garden together because come fall, I'm about to get ready to start the fall garden. So before I left, what I did was I came and cleaned this out. I cleaned all of this out right here. So we got that done. We cut back some of the salvia. We got that done. I do have to put some more mulch down, but we got that done. I started before I left on this bed. And so let me just tell y'all this. If you don't hear anything else I say, y'all, it looked so bad. So the old owner, it looked like they planted one little plant, one little plant of mint, like right by the fence. And I don't know if they didn't know. I don't know what their interpretation was of mint. Hi, Nana. Hey, how you doing? Good. Where your shoes at? Good. You need to go put them on. You don't want to get bit. Okay? All right. But yeah, the mint, y'all. It was a lot of mint on this fence. And so I'm going to show you really quickly. To be honest, I don't even want to come back over in this area. I said I was going to get this area a break. But I do need to come back and trim some stuff. I didn't get it good, but let me tell you. Now, I want to tell you this. If you want a yard full of mint, then by golly, go ahead and just put one plant in there and let it run loose. But if you don't want it, please, 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 y'all, hear me. Put it in a container. Mint is aggressive. It spreads from underground by the rhizomes underneath. And if I can come over here, and the reason why I want to come over here is because, let me share with you real quick. I was over here on this side trying to pull some things up. We got the roses. It was 67 today, y'all, when I got up and went walking. But the roses are starting to come back. They're starting to bloom. But I was over here in this area because let me tell you about lamb's ear. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But we've been having rain for about the last 2 weeks. So here's the thing. When the lamb's ear have a lot of water, it'll start just like it's about to be mushy, and it just looks bad. So I was over here doing something, and then all of a sudden I start getting popped out of nowhere. And y'all know I got my long sleeves on. I got my boots on, I got pants on, and I know it was the no-see-ums, but how they got like on my elbow, and it's like they leave a sting, like it's gonna sting, like little pulses of stings for about 20 minutes. And so I was gonna go in, and I said, why do you keep doing this? Why are you doing this? And y'all know I've never heard of no-see-ums until I got here. I didn't have this problem in Savannah. I didn't have it in Italy. I didn't have, see, like my butt that it popped me on, it's still stinging. It stung me about 15, 20 minutes ago. I didn't have this problem. So this is something new. And so I'm questioning myself, girl, do you want to keep getting out here getting popped? And I used up all my calendula salve. So I'm off tomorrow. So trust me, I will. I got calendula oil that's been sitting. Trust me, I will be making some calendula salve. That's the only thing that kind of helps it out a little bit. But I am going to put on my gloves because I want to show you what this mint is doing. Now, again, I want y'all to realize, if you want a yard full of mint, please, you don't need but one. You don't need but one. But if you don't, please put it in a container. Let it be contained, y'all, because we've been here since 23, and I have been fighting this mint. And the thing is I put down this weed fabric that you see right here. But if it has one little hole that it could creep through and pop up, that's what it's going to do. And y'all know that when I planted these plants, I did put, plant holes in here. So the rhizomes are like, okay, let me show you what it's doing. Like it's popping up over here, if you see right here. But I've cleared a lot of it. Like I got mad and I just started pulling. But do you see how up underneath, like these are the mint rhizomes, okay? And they got the peel bugs, roly-polies, got some snails up under here. But this is how they travel, and they spread really quickly. Since I got y'all on here right now, just hold on, because a mosquito has bit me on my arm. So if you see the phone shaking, it's me. Y'all, I'm telling you, like today, I'm like, should you just go in today? But these are the mint rhizomes. And so I just want y'all to see this. So I'm like trying to take my hand and just pull them and break them up, okay? But I'm telling y'all, if you do not, it's very aggressive. And this is, I want to say this is spearmint, if I'm not mistaken. And it's spreading, and we got all kind of stuff going on underneath this weed fabric. But do you see how it's on the fence line? And it is really doing a number. And I say about every 3 months, I come out here and I try to pull things up. But this is how they continue to spread. So you gotta look at this. You gotta get a hold of them. Good thing I do have the weed fabric down. So this is what they look like. Good thing I do have the weed fabric down, because if not, they would be all over the place. So I'm just kind of breaking them up. I'm not even supposed to be over here because I got mad by being over here getting bit by the no-see-ums. But I just wanted to show you all, first of all, about mint. So grow mint at your own. Now, we do grow them in containers. Yes, we do. We got Moroccan mint, we got chocolate mint, we got all kind of mints, but they're in containers. And the way that they put them, like, I don't think they put it by the fence line. It's just that they spread it. They just had one plant when I got here, and I was like, oh no, let me pull this mint up. But it's starting to go by this fence line, so that makes it really hard. And now the rhizomes are starting to get thick and hard to pull up. But we gonna figure it out, y'all. We gonna figure it out. But this, like, they're starting to get big. And so I try to grab a piece like this and just like pull on it and just pull a lot of it up. You see that? Y'all see that? Like, that's one like rhizome. And I just try to pull it like this. Now I could easily propagate it, but trust me, we got enough mint. We do have enough mint, but it's starting to get in ground a lot. And so, like I said, if you want mint, go ahead, try it, but don't put it in the ground. It's good to have. It's great for digestion, all of that good stuff. But I'll deal with that later. But yeah, y'all. So I just got bit up. I'm getting bit up by the mosquitoes, and I'm trying to. I think it's because I was so relaxed. Thank you so much, SJK, for subscribing. Welcome to the family. We got a few. I'll go over to the tomatoes in just a second. I just said that I'm gonna start pulling the rest of the determinate ones. So we harvested a lot of Roma tomatoes that we're gonna make into sauce. But yeah, y'all, I just questioned myself, and I just said, girl, the way you keep getting bit up, like, is it worth it? Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get in these moods, but I just wanted to come on. You see how long this is? Like, you can, I try to keep pulling it like that, but all of these are the I want to say this is spearmint rhizomes. One plant, I promise y'all, one plant. And when I got here, I said, oh, this shouldn't be bad at all. Like, I'll go ahead and pull that up. I remember moving here, and I said, I'm gonna pull this up right now, because she didn't know any better. And so this is where we made kind of like our mini rose garden right here. This plant, they sent me out a replacement, and it still didn't make it, but we're not gonna worry about it. Maybe it didn't need to make it. I've never seen so many mosquitoes before, y'all. I'm telling you. I'm like, what is going on? But when I got here, the spearmint plant was kind of in the middle. See, that didn't even have a leaf on here, but if you can see, it's up under here. So you just gotta keep pulling. But let's keep going. So just, y'all, if y'all don't hear anything else I say about mint, okay, please hear that. Look what I just pulled from up under there. They're very aggressive. If you don't want a yard full of mint, do not put them in the ground. It was one plant when I got here, and I've been fighting this for since 23, because I remember pulling it up and saying, I'm going to put some weed fabric down. It shouldn't be that bad, but wherever it finds like an opening at, it will come up. Now, don't get me wrong, because we garden organically. I do from time to time, we'll harvest some and let it dry and use it. But it had gotten out of control, really out of control. But then as I was trying to clean off by the roses as well, the no-see-ums, they got me. And I know they got me at least about 7 times. The last one was on my butt, and I still feel it buzzing. But let me tell you what else I was doing. And most of the no-see-ums, when I start working in the in-ground soil, that's where it gets me at. Not necessarily the raised beds, but we still got to keep these raised beds. We still got to keep the in-ground in check, because this had overgrown with grass. I got to cut these salvias back. And like I said, we've been getting a lot of rain. The other day, I went ahead, cut the butterfly bush back, clean this area right here. These are the ornamental alliums right here. I cut this is the pretty poly lavender. So I cleaned this bed up too, because it was starting to get overgrown. It was actually looking like this, y'all. Let's just be honest. It was looking like this, and the grass was starting to creep in. I'm going to change out this plant. I'm going to do a video, y'all, because each year I kind of see what works. I plant something new. And I remember early spring planting these lantanas that were over by the azaleas. I'm going to do a separate video on that. So I don't want to plant those again, because I've planted lantanas in the past, and they grow pretty nice. They're pretty tough plants for the south, but this particular variety did not do well at all, at all. But I notice again, when I'm working in the in-ground, that's when I start getting bit up. Let me bring this bag, because I'll share with y'all what I'm doing now. And then I'm going to go in and cook. Because I just was like, why do you keep doing this? But then when I show y'all the tomato, when I see my tomatoes, when I see the peppers, and when I taste the peppers, oh, y'all, I'm still hurting. I'm still hurting. And I'm just like, you're going to have to go down. Like my mom said, I'm going to have to rub with alcohol. And tomorrow I'm going to have to make some calendula salve. That really helps. But over here, this is where I got bit. Right here, like I said, for some odd reason, when I'm working in ground, that's when they really, and it doesn't. So now I'm starting to understand it does not matter if you're protected or not. Like I got on long sleeves. Now they probably would have hit me harder if I didn't have, that was a mosquito I just blew off of me. If I didn't have like the long sleeves and the pants on, it probably would have penetrated a little bit more. But I'm just like, it hurts. It really, this is, I don't like that bug. I don't. I would rather get bit by a mosquito than these no-see-ums. And apparently they're microscopic, they're in the soil. But the hibiscus, I wanted to come and clean off real good. So the hibiscus is part of the okra family. We put these in the ground a little bit late, but I can actually start harvesting these. I use these for tea. Now, I've been told that the leaves are edible as well. Child, look at this right here. I tell you, y'all probably can't see it. I've been told that the leaves are edible, but I always grow them for the roselle, like the calyx, right here. And so I'm going to start harvesting them and drying them as well. But this is the grass that I pulled out. And let me tell y'all, I try to garden plan, but this was a space that was so last minute. And the reason why I made this space last year, this was just all grass, but I had some extra garlic. And I was like, I have got to plant this garlic. I've got to plant it. So I just got some compost, got some lime, and I just made this space. This was the garlic that we harvested, and we put up pictures. So I'm just using this for, it was supposed to be for okra, but I'm just using this because I had made the space. This was not supposed to be here. I didn't plan very, very good. And I put up a video, y'all, not just the butterfly bush, not just them, but the whole garden. I've seen so many swallowtail. They're camera shy. I will tell you that. The swallowtail butterflies, they are very camera shy. This was Pollinator Island that we created earlier this year. I will tell you that it has gotten away from me, honey. I got to do some work. I got to do a lot of work. And I know that although I took a few days off, it's going to take more than a few days. So what I told myself is, this was Pollinator Island. This is what we created. And a lot of these, y'all, were clearance plants. These were clearance plants. And I do have to move a few when the weather cools, like this banana cream daisy right here. I got to move this. But I just want y'all to see like all of the butterflies. Like, it's amazing. The black and blue salvia is starting to bloom as well. I think I'm going to have to move this because this false indigo plant, it really is, it's so pretty in the springtime. It really is pretty, but it does take over. And I did plant them a little bit closer because I wanted them to be full, and they did just that. Now let's go over here to the tomatoes, SJK. So we did kind of like these mosquitoes, kind of like a presentation, a master class, if you go back and look, about tomatoes. Like when we talk about determinate tomatoes, indeterminate tomatoes, sauce tomatoes, and the other, oh gosh, y'all, hold on. Y'all, I got bugs flying in my eyes. I'm telling you, this is why I put that on here. I'm like, do you really? Why are we really doing this? I don't know what's going on with these mosquitoes. This is the second time a bug has flew in my eye, and I'm like, why? This is where, let me tell you, this is where your why come in at. Because I put on social media, a lot of times we get on this social media and we look at other people garden and we think, oh yeah, we're going to do that. But nobody tells you about things like the leaf-footed bugs that I've had to really, so this year, the leaf-footed bugs have been a big issue. So this is what was the Rapunzel, and y'all just stay with me because I've been away for about 4 days. We've had nothing but a lot of rain. So today was my first day getting back out here. And so I got to do a lot of garden cleanup. The Rapunzel tomato I talked about before I left is really a nice flavor, grape type tomato. It's really nice. However, the picture doesn't depict what it should be looking like. And the reason why I say that with this leaf-footed bug sitting right here that I just caught is because I did leave the tag in here. So this is the way the Rapunzel tomato is supposed to look. If y'all can see, it looked like it had like long trellises of just tomatoes. But it's not the way the picture looks. Although I can tell y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you, the flavor is really good for a grape tomato. You know that the big husky cherry tomato, which is this right here, this is one of my favorites as far as flavor and ease of growing. Doesn't have too many pests right here. Now, I shared with you all last week. This is a mild flavor. This is like the yellow patio tomato. But I'm going to tell y'all, it is very prone to cracking. Even when it's not a lot of rain, you have got to really get on them when they just start to blush and turn. If not, they are going to crack. Like half of these, y'all look what kind of bug this is. Look at him. Look at that, y'all. I gotta clean up because it's like a lot of gnats in here. And I know it's from like these tomatoes that have cracked right here. This is why I'm showing this to y'all. So if you're new to gardening, if you're thinking about gardening, I'm going to give y'all a lot of gardening tips. But I'm also going to let you know, don't get fooled by what you see on social media thinking that this is going to be planted. I'm going to plant it and I'm going to go. Don't think that. Please don't. Because you're going to have to put in some work. You're going to get bit. If y'all could look at my legs right now, surrounding, it looks like I'm being swarmed by mosquitoes. Like the attack of the goddamn mosquitoes. That's what it looks like, okay? So the yellow patio, these are cherry tomatoes. It's a good mild flavor. Is it my favorite? No. But these were in the seed kits that we offered. And as a matter of fact, y'all, we got our seed kits, AuyannaPlants.com for the fall. It was in our seed kits, and um, it is easy to start from seed. It's very easy to grow. But what I will tell you is the cracking on it. It's very prone to cracking. And oftentimes, like if, just say for instance, with tomatoes, if it's like a lot of rain over and over and over, then you'll get some cracking. Or just say for instance, you're not keeping your soil consistently moist, it dries out, and then you just flood it with water. That can cause cracking, but I don't find that in these just crack because they want to crack, you know. But that's okay. That's okay. While I was gone, honey, this okra is way too big, if y'all can see it. So I'm just going to let this stay on here, and we're going to save it for seed. Here's some more big husky cherry tomatoes that we've been gone. I think we're going to pull those up right here, but that's a good cherry tomato. We are growing this is the black cherry. I've been saving seeds for this. This is another good flavor tomato right here. So this is what we would call an indeterminate tomato, meaning that they're going to grow all the way up to our first fall frost. It's an heirloom tomato. It's really good. Some more big husky cherry right here. But what we did grow this year for sauce tomatoes, because we talked about that on our video. And once this video is done, I'll try to make sure that I link that one, where it's kind of like a little 20-minute class about tomatoes. But these are our Roma tomatoes. Now what I want to show you is yeah, a lot of these are ready. I'm going to end up pulling these as well. We had a bed of Roma tomatoes right here. And Roma tomatoes are determinate, meaning it's going to put on all of its tomatoes at once. You harvest them and you can plant something else there. And that's what happened. That's why this bed is empty, is because we had Roma tomatoes right here. We harvested them, we froze some, we dehydrated some, and then we're making sauce with some as well. They're a good meaty tomato for you to make sauce. And so most of these, like they're putting on the last, you gotta 8A. And I've grown a lot of tomatoes. And you got to find what works best for your area. And the reason why I say that is because when I was in Savannah, there were some tomatoes that, even having over 20 years of gardening experience, I struggled with. So I had to find the right varieties for my area. The big husky cherry. Now we're in 8A now. That's a good one. The sun gold that we grew last year. That's a good one. We grew some heirloom Italian Rosa tomatoes, I want to say. Those grew great. Now, since I will tell you, since I've been in the Atlanta area, I have not struggled as much with tomatoes. And I really feel like the reason is, although Savannah and Atlanta is in the same state, the humidity and the heat is a little bit different, okay? And this is what I share with a lot of people, no matter where you are in the world. We're in summer season, and even if they say summer loving vegetables, y'all, a lot of plants will stop growing above 90, 95 degrees, depending on the variety. They'll just like stop growing, because it's just way too hot for them. And the reason I would have so much success, like when we were in Savannah, people would be like, how are you growing tomatoes in November? Because it was cooler, and they liked that cool. They didn't like, and I got to say, the heat index. So it may have been 90, 95, but it might have felt like 110. And so they just either stopped growing or they slowed down tremendously. And then once the weather starts to cool, they pick back up. But that's when I had the dilemma, because I'm like, okay, if I want my fall garden to flourish, I got to pull this stuff up. That's why I've been really mindful about, don't even plant anything else summer. I did plant one more cucumber plant, two more, because they're about 40 to 55 days, the variety that I have, and I know I have enough time. But I pulled this up because I'm like, okay, we're going to plant our onions, we're going to plant our carrots. I did plant one more round of bush beans. I'm trying that out, because my first fall frost is around November the 15th. That's give or take. Don't use that as a hard date. Don't use that and be like, okay, November, it could be before, it could be after. But I feel like we're going to get some good beans, which is why I went ahead and planted one more round in this raised bed over here. But what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to do another live, because I'm going to share with you how I determine when I'm going to plant my fall seeds. But what I will tell you is, since we're in Georgia, I have to start them inside. If I start them outside, they will bolt and they will go to seed, because it's still too hot here. So I'm going to start them inside. I'm going to harden them off, and then I'm going to put them outside when the weather starts to cool. And like I said, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, because I'll take you along. And the reason why I know that is because when I pulled the arugula seeds over here, the arugula plant. So we had arugula. I pulled the arugula, and we still got some little seedlings popping up. Two issues we had. First issue, see, all of these are like a little arugula seeds. First issue was the pest. The pest, like this right here. Oh, look at this. It's been raining. Like these right here. Did he fall? He did. The worm. We got to spray BT. Here they are. Oh, they just falling off, y'all. They are just falling off this marigold, which is supposed to be, which is, helps with pests. But that's the reason why I love fall, because you don't have as much pest pressure. You still got pests. So when I do plant a lot of my fall vegetables, I am going to put netting over them to try to stop some of these moths from laying eggs. And that's where you get all those holes in your fall vegetables. That's where they come from. The moths just laying eggs on them. I'll show y'all another example, but this was one right here. I came in before I left, and I sprayed it real good. Now, like I tell people, don't think you're going to spray it one time and then, see, this is the damage that it did. Don't think you're going to spray it one time and then it's just going to be all gone. And I was skeptical about spraying it because I knew we were going to have rain, but it just had so many damage. They'll bounce back, but it's not a one and done. So the first thing with the arugula was the pest, and then they were bolting. They were going to seed because it was just too hot for it. So I'm like, let me do just one more round of the bush beans, and y'all can follow us along and see. Okay, so the tomatoes, it just depends on your zone, because a lot of people, a lot of our friends that's in Florida, they can actually maybe get away planting one more round of tomatoes, and then actually they probably can plant. I've heard some people further down south in Florida, like in February, they can put their tomatoes out because it's just so hot and they don't do well in the heat of the summer. It's just, even though they say summer loving vegetable, it's too hot. I mean, imagine us standing outside all day long and it's like it feels like 110. We would get hot too. We would get very hot. So that's what I wanted to come on here and share with you all when I did leave. So we had a lot of rain once again. And so the rain and the wind, I actually came out here to get like a bell pepper to be able to cook. These are like our lunchbox bell peppers. These were actually in the kit, the summer kit too. I want y'all to stick with me because I guarantee you when it starts to get a little bit cooler, these are going to be loaded with these snack and bell peppers right here. These are the yellow ones right here. But I just came out here, whatever bell pepper was ready. I didn't care if it was green or red. I think we had a red one over here. I'm like, I don't care what color it is. I just need a bell pepper to be able to cook. And that's the lovely thing. That's the lovely, lovely, lovely thing. Yeah, this one is red. That's the lovely thing about gardening, y'all, is the reason why I do it, which is the purpose of this video. I was like, why are you out here getting bit up? Why are these mosquitoes on here? Why are you really doing it? This is like the purple ones, the purple bell pepper as well. But I'm like, why? And to be honest, y'all, because I can come out here if I want some basil. I don't have to go to the store. If I want, some tomatoes, I don't have to go to the store. If I want some bell peppers, I don't have to go to the store. So not only is it therapy, let's be honest, for me, not only is it therapy, but it's just being able to say, I know how to grow, which I think everybody needs to know how to do. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm not saying start this big farm. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is learn the skill of knowing how to grow your own. And that's what we're here to teach. I just saw so many people so frustrated back in 2020. I'm like, okay, let me share my knowledge. We about to get ready to can some of these banana peppers right here. So I'm gonna cut as much off as I can, and we're just gonna do some water bath canning on that. We got our herb garden. We're gonna be offering some of our loose leaf herbs on the website, but just the fact that if there's something I want, like we got jalapeno, this is probably going to be my third cutting right here. I've already harvested jalapenos off of this once. Y'all, I don't know what is going on with these mosquitoes. I just don't. Like when I tell you the disrespect and how they are swarming me, I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? But and then the butterflies, the pollinators, like I've seen, here's a different one right here. They are so camera shy. But just knowing the concept of growing your own, what do you need? See, I want to show y'all these zinnias. I know I'm all over the place. But this is why I say you gotta, when you start getting frustrated, you gotta go back to why am I even doing this? Like I'm telling y'all, I was so frustrated. Like, look at this. I gotta do BT. Look at that, y'all. Look at this. These are my zinnias. You see that? Like these are the moths just laying eggs and then they just doing whatever they want to. I do try to pick them off, but it's supposed to rain for the next 7 days. So it's no need of me spraying BT. So I'm just going to come out here and I'm just going to pick them off. But these are the things. Look at the damage that they're doing. This is when I'm trying to get out the sun so y'all can see. Because these mosquitoes have really tore my hand up. Like, and they are all on my legs. I'm like, what? Where are they coming from? Oh my gosh. But look at this. So this is why you got to go back to why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this? Why am I standing out here getting bit up by these mosquitoes, by these no-see-ums? Why am I out here doing this? That's what I asked myself today. I'm like, why are you out here doing this? But then I look around in the garden and I'm like, You got cayenne pepper growing. This is the new pepper we're growing, called garden salsa. What I said about this garden salsa is you got to be mindful because they're not supposed to be hotter than a jalapeno, but it's like random. Like one might be mild, but one might be hot. That's what I noticed about that, because the very first one that I cooked with, I said, oh wow, this is not hot at all. I could deal with them. But what I do love about them is they make a lot. If you all can see, they make a lot of peppers on the plants. Look at this. Oh gosh, y'all. They make a lot of peppers on the plant. I'm telling you, I question today because I know that once I go in, take a shower, and get out these clothes, I have so many marks on me right now from where I've been bit by the no-see-ums, by the mosquitoes, and it's just irritating sometimes. Maybe because I just got back from the beach and, I'm like, oh, everything is good. See, look at this. We got to do a big spraying of BT. Child, why is he on the okra? Can y'all see him? Why is the worm on is it on the okra? But those are things you got to ask yourself when things don't go how you want to. But like I said, I complain a little bit, but in the end, it's all worth it. And y'all know I'm going to tell you, um, is tomato the easiest crop to grow as a beginner? So I'm a little bit different gardener, William. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I don't classify plants as easy to grow, hard to grow. This is what I say. First of all, you got to find what you like to grow. Because I could say, and I want to tell you my reasoning. I could say, William, I want grow some tomatoes. They're super easy to grow. But in the back of your mind, you like tomatoes, but it might not be your favorite. You know what I mean? And you'll grow them because I said, William, these are easy to grow. But then if you start having pest pressure like the leaf-footed bugs on my tomatoes, you may say, you know what? I'm not I'm not good at growing tomatoes, and you know what, I'm just gonna let the plant, I'm gonna pull the plant up, or I'm gonna let the plant do what it want to do because I really don't like tomatoes. I just feel like, first of all, grow what you love. I just don't look at it as, is it easy, is it hard? First of all, pick out something you like, because if you don't like tomatoes, when you start to get pest issues, when you start to get things going on with the plant that might be diseases and stuff like that, I just don't feel like you're going to give your 100% or give your biggest effort to continue to grow it. And then you'll say, I'm not going to grow. And the reason why I'm saying it is because I've seen this happen. And you're going to say, I'm not good at gardening. I'm not going to grow anything because they said tomatoes was easy and I can't even grow tomatoes. So that's why I say that. So, first of all, the way I try to look at things and the way I try to teach is pick what you like, because I feel like you're going to put more effort in it if you have pests, if you have diseases, and then you can just work at it. It's all about a journey. There are some tomatoes that I have grown that really tested me after all these years of growing vegetables, flowers, herbs. And I say grow what you like because if y'all have been with us for a while, I don't like okra. I don't. But I grow it because that's what my family loves. Now, I will tell you, okra is very heat tolerant, drought tolerant. Once you get it growing, it is like you don't have to coddle it. There's some plants you do gotta, kind of pay a little bit more attention to. Okra, you don't. So I grow this for my family, but I don't like okra. So I always say either grow something you like or your family likes, because that's going to make you put more effort in it versus you probably will never see me grow cauliflower, because I feel like that if I'm not successful at cauliflower, I will say, you know what, cauliflower is so hard to grow. I can't grow it. Well, because I really don't like it. And I didn't put as much effort as I could have into it. I love peppers, bell peppers, not hot peppers, y'all. I take a little heat. I've taken a little bit more heat over the years. I'm gonna grow all type of herbs in my garden, just for herbal teas, herbal seasonings, all of that. Tomatoes you will find in my garden, basil, bell peppers. What else we got? Okra for my family, banana peppers. So different and different varieties, like the purple bell pepper over there. You unless you go to like a farmer's market, you're probably not going to see it at the grocery store. We started this candy cane stripe pepper from Seed. I do got a feeling that once it cools